I want you to notice she's focusing too much on other people. Why did they do that? I don't care why they did that. I need to understand why I keep engaging.
And then I get really ashamed of myself.
No, okay. So bring that shame forward.
Shadows.
Bring this shame forward. I am ashamed. I acted like a 2-year-old. Great. Perfect. I acted out like a kid having a tantrum.
There needs to be a new question of like, how old are you? 33. How old are you in relationships? 7.
Correct. Something happened. Something stopped there, right? And it's okay, but bring it forward and get really interested. Okay, why did you do it when you were 7? Why did you do it when you were 5? Dig into the inner child. Understand that inner child. Instead of shaming it, shame on you, shame on you. Okay, what was happening?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Stranded Phase podcast. I am here. It's your girl, Jessica Hurley, and I am here with our, not just any guest, but the Stranded Phase. We're going to quote her as the resident expert because we can pretty much talk to her about anything. I can pretty much talk to her about anything. She's been a therapist, not an actual therapist, but helped me with my healing. She's been an incredible friend, and then really helped me deal with my patterns in dating. And so here's something we just listen to me for a second when I say this. God help us all, because it's a little wild in these dating streets right now. And so I was like, Ludmilla, come talk to us. And not only us, and this is not to exclude anyone, but yes or no in the comments if dating as a high achieving or just very driven woman in general has you feeling very, very alone. So we're joined today by Ludmila Woodruff to talk about dating as a very driven woman and what that kind of comes with and why we out here struggling. So welcome to the Stranded Phase podcast.
Thank you.
Again. So here's my dire need and question of the day. Mm-hmm. Lord help us. Ludmilla, we don't know what to do. It's getting bad out here. Yes. And I know what you're going to say. It's us. And I know it. It's definitely us. So
I always have to laugh a little bit because everything comes back to the radical responsibility.
Yes.
If we talk about being in a relationship that's committed in marriage, being a mother, being a business owner, or being in a dating space right now, so often high achievers are used to making a plan, correct? Having a strategy, having specific steps, following the plan, following the strategy, having, specific results or goal in mind. And I say, yes, do have that. And dating is very different. And, making a plan for your business for 12 months, let's say, in some ways it can be because you still have to trust. But in love and in dating and in relationships, you really have to lean back more, let go more of control of trying to be the fixer in dating or in a relationship. There's a lot of power in surrender into yourself first, being really present with yourself, being open, being more in a flow, not constantly in your head. As high achievers, we live so much in our heads. Being more in the body, right? Being more connected to your creative expression. How do you play? How do you connect to your emotions? How are you creative? Or are you constantly in the mode of overthinking and overfunctioning? And this is exactly what is blocking us in dating and in relationships. Because love comes from the heart, not so much from the head where we kind of operate and live in.
Okay. There is so much to unpack here. So the best way that I know how to do this, because what you just said sounds like the furthest from what I'm close to. I'm going to throw myself under the bus, because that's the best thing I know how to do. Going from a long-term relationship into healing, into then dating and checking out the world and seeing what's happening out there. I have experienced everything, and I'm going to list this off for the sake of folks listening to just, you pick where you feel like you fall into or things that have happened to you, right? I have overreacted and been triggered when dating. I have for an unmet expectation that was never clear. I have for sure picked people that were not a good fit for me because you validate me and that's enough.
Yeah.
I have watch this, get ready. This is really going to hurt some feelings. I have found men that I'm like, ooh, right fit, driven, feels good, all the things. They ghost me like that. We about to get real embarrassing here. Mm-hmm. Ghost me and then end up with a woman. Get ready for this. And this is going to sound really degrading, but we feel like is a quarter of us. Mm-hmm. But she's fun and she's mm-hmm. playful. And you see this person that you like mm-hmm. doing things with someone else that you're like, whoa, wait. That was supposed to be me. Mm-hmm. And you're like, and it becomes reflective and you're like, what's wrong with me? Why not? Mm-hmm. Why not me? Mm-hmm. And I have so many girlfriends that are finding that they feel like minimal expectations is too much. Like they're too much. We're too much. We're feeling like we're too much because, and I know where this is going. I'm just airing the laundry to help some of you be able to be like, yep, been there. That's me. I know what you're talking about. And someone's like, yeah, wrong guy. I got it. Correct. 100%. But for high achieving or driven women that are dating, there's so much to unpack here. What are we not coming to terms with?
So much. We think we can
We're
run.
The worst, y'all.
No, it's not about the worst. You just apply what works in career and business.
And it does not work.
Not in a way that, if you are running your business in a very masculine way, not listening to your intuition, not trusting, being very, everything planned to the T. And if it doesn't go your way, you are emotionally triggered, correct? Mm-hmm. That approach will not work in a relationship or dating. First of all, if we get out of a relationship and we go into dating, what is the part of you that's still not being addressed? What is the part of you that you are still dismissing? Because we can say it's a wrong man, but we attract on the energetical level. So we attract our equal on the healing level or understanding level, right? So what is the part of yourself that still is being rejected, is being unseen, is not being loved on, is not being respected, doesn't express the boundaries? Right? That part, you need to look at that part. So I have a lot of very high achievers work with me and everything from outside looks like, everything is working. We are very successful. We have all the accomplishments. That's another thing. In love, your accomplishments don't really matter.
Oh my God.
Don't really matter how much money you make. For some people it does, but how much money you make, how many degrees you have, that, all the things. We are using it as high achievers to prove our worth very often. Let me show you all my achievements. Let me show you what I'm capable of. Let me show you I don't need your help. I don't really need you. But we are blocking ourselves. It's really intimacy fear. So until you can come to terms that you are imperfect, like many men you will be dating too, or even your partner, nobody's perfect, right? If you can look into the parts of yourself that you are ashamed of and you don't want anybody to see. For example, I lost it. I was triggered by someone I'm dating. Okay, what's the problem with that? Why were you triggered? Just be very compassionate with that part of yourself. There was a reason, right? But
rejection.
Exactly. So I was triggered because I felt like I will be rejected.
I felt abandoned for being myself, or I felt rejected by you.
Perfect. So
I showed you the level at what I wanted you and you rejected me.
Okay, perfect. So what's wrong with that if you got triggered? If you make it a problem, it becomes a problem and becomes a one. And then you are not very kind to yourself, correct? It's, I will never find a guy because I will be always the problem. I will always get triggered. Who is going to keep up with this, right? But if instead of beating yourself up, you can look at yourself and say, look, I'm doing so much better. At least I know why I'm triggered. I recognize the pattern. I see this needs more love from me, not even from the guy. Because let me be honest, dating is not about the guy. It's really about you. Okay. You are the magnet, you are the energy, and whatever energy vibration you are on, you will attract this person to your life, correct? So as you are growing, you don't have to be completely healed. As I said, I have clients that are moving through those stages, right? So now they understand so much about themselves. They can recognize their triggers instead of saying, oh my gosh, I screw up again. They look at themselves and say, this is progress. 6 months ago, I wouldn't even see this. I wouldn't even recognize what happened here. So instead of beating themselves up, they can look at themselves and say, I'm doing great. This is not a problem. A right type of guy will not have an issue with this. He will be understanding with me because I'm understanding with myself, right? But if I beat myself up and I want to be perfect, I will attract a person, we'll project, mirror. So for example, I had a client and, she did something, right? She got triggered, and instead of running away like she used to, or saying there is something wrong with him or there's something wrong with me, I will never be successful dating, she took time, she evaluated, she came back to the conversation, and she handled it like a boss, meaning she was very open. She said, that felt very unsafe emotionally to me. I felt triggered, and I would love for us to do conflict in this way. Or if we are both triggered, we shouldn't be having the conversation until we calm down. Where before, she wouldn't even have this conversation. She would just shut down and run away. Correct? But because we don't see it's perfect, we make it mean we are not doing well. We are not there yet. There's something wrong with us. And, if we reject ourselves so much and we have such a high standard of ourselves that we can never, screw up, then we look at the people we are dating. They can never screw up either. So we're trying to, show ourselves as this picture of ourselves, but not the true us. And we also expect the same from the guy. Don't screw up. Be always perfect. Don't disappoint me. Correct? Very high expectations.
Oh my God. Okay. There is so much. Hold on. There was like 5 things in my mind. I was like, can I have a pen? Because I really want to
write this down. Write it down. But literally, this is, you need to be so comfortable with looking at yourself and feeling whole within. Even though you can say, I still don't love some parts of myself, but I see it and it's not a problem. Okay. Then you won't be running to men to make you feel whole or fix you. Dating is not about the other person making you feel whole or make you feel like there's nothing wrong with you. You need to feel that about yourself. Yes, I'm not perfect. I screw up. Sometimes I lose it. Sometimes I don't communicate. Nothing is wrong with me. I'm learning. And when you can do that for yourself, correct, and you recognize your patterns without beating yourself up, that's a very different conversation, the way you show up energetically instead of hiding and being, let me put just my best foot forward so you don't see all these parts of myself that I'm trying to hide.
Okay. You gave us so much. Hold on. There's a lot to unpack. Okay. So one, I heard something really cool when you were explaining the handling it like a boss. And I was like, okay. So a lot of times we'll often cut shit off at the head to protect ourselves.
Correct.
So we're like, I don't like the way that you behaved in that situation. So dead it. Like we immediately are like red flag,
Correct.
right? And I think a lot of times we don't have the emotional capacity or sit in it long enough, right? Like this is just for me. This is for no one else. But for me, I have a 2-day rule. Whereas like something really triggers me. I really try my best. It doesn't work every time, but I try my best to sit in it for 2 days before. And I know some things need to be addressed immediately, but sometimes I'm like, the way you address things in an emotional state and the way you can address them after you've kind of processed it are 2 very different things. And what I heard you saying is like, there's a difference between running from it and conflict resolution.
Correct.
So it's not so much what happens, it's how we choose to handle it together. And if I try my very best to handle it in a very logical, calm, I see you, I hear you, and I see myself way, and you still can't handle that, or you use that as an opportunity to kind of point fingers or bash me, then that's a conversation. That's when you can kind of say, okay, maybe this is not for me. Maybe this is not at my emotional level, but it's not at the thing. It's at the way in which we choose to resolve the conflict.
Because it really requires you to be very vulnerable. Right? Like the client I'm speaking of, she had to be vulnerable to come to the table with the man that she was seeing and say, that really hurts. That hurt. I felt triggered. Can you imagine for a high achiever saying this? that I felt.
It feels so weak to tell a man I felt triggered.
But that's the
'Cause then
stronger.
they're like, literally, a man's like, you can't handle yourself.
No, but that's toxic masculinity. That's a toxic masculinity. If a man tells me, "Can you handle yourself?" then I'm out. Because this is not holding space for you, right? So you come to the table like
Because we do
did.
need to feel safe.
You do need to feel emotionally safe, meaning he might not agree with you, but you are still entitled to your understanding and your experience. He's also entitled and has a right to have his own experience,
Yes.
right?
When a man says, I
Yes.
understand why you felt that way, but when it happened, I was thinking this.
Correct.
I'm like, cool, we can get on this
Correct.
page. I see where you saw that differently and I saw it differently, and we can both express
Yes.
ourselves, and then you can say, I understand why you, that's all I need.
Yes,
I
you don't
understand
even
why
have
you
to
felt that
agree. I don't have to agree that I would react the same way because we are two different human
People.
beings.
Yes.
Correct. But I understand how it must have felt for you. Perfect. You feel emotionally safe. For a high achieving woman to come to the table and say that, it's not needy, it's not weak. It says the way I was spoken to felt disrespectful, I felt left out, or I felt whatever that was for you, right? Or I felt anxious, didn't feel safe emotionally. If you can do that with a man that you are seeing, right? And if he can hold a space for you, that builds so much more trust within the container, right?
Yes.
Of two people. If you can have that conversation, and I don't say have it immediately from the get-go. No, the first phase of dating is having a lot of fun. Don't bring any drama or history from your life to the first weeks of dating. It's supposed to be creativity, playfulness, lightness, really being in the space of just being and exploring, who is this person? Let me be free myself. I say it's about us women, not the man. How can I feel safe in his presence? If it doesn't feel safe, is it me or is it him again, right? Because if we don't know how to trust ourselves and feel safe with ourselves, very often we will project. So just understanding, is it him?
Yes, do y'all hear this? I'm like, do you know how many friends I have that have been like, girl, this man's my husband, or girl, like it's over, like, or sometimes they'll be shy about it, but really like first date, second date, they're like, this is it. Like, and I can't even think about how many times or friends I know, or myself included, where I have gone on dates and it's so hard for us to be creative and playful and present and just experience someone because we're either on a rampage to find someone because we feel like time is
urgency.
Of the essence, urgency, or we bring our shit to the table
too fast.
The minute somebody's like, well, why are you single? And it's like, blah, 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 blah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Shut it down for now. I don't know you. Women, we've been so confused, not because it's us, but because of how we were raised in society and patriarchy, all the things. First of all, women for many, many centuries didn't have a voice, were silenced. We didn't know what we want, or what we wanted was not available to us, right? So even now when I ask a woman, what do you want? Sometimes it's very hard to say what I want.
We don't know what we want to eat.
I don't want. And then expressing that, like really using your voice and saying, coming to the table, and I would love for us to do conflict this way, or I would love for us to do this or be that, right? For women to say that, it's so hard. We need to practice this for us to set boundaries, right? Even high achievers, because we are in urgency. So very often we date unconsciously, meaning I'm not aware of my patterns. I don't know what is triggering me. I don't know how to support myself. I don't know what's happening within my body, my nervous system. But I'm in urgency and I want to get married and I want to have kids and I want to have family and look at my age. Oh my goodness. So whoever comes along, right, looks great on a paper. I had clients like this. Oh, looks great on the paper. He's a doctor. He's a lawyer. Look at him. He's ambitious. And then they go out and on emotional level, you don't even want to deal with this person. Okay. But because we are so unconscious about our own patterns and our own urgency to connect and attach and be with someone, that's what I say. Stop, slow it down, learn how to be at home with yourself, become that safe haven for yourself first, even if it's not perfect. And then when you date, you are not in this constant urgency. Or if you catch yourself you have to be aware. There is a difference between conscious and aware dating and completely unaware way of showing up for yourself, your life, and just winging it and thinking, What's wrong with all these men? Excuse me, who is one person that's attracting all of them? You. So what is happening for you that you are attracting all these people to your life? Because as I said, we are energy. If I don't speak up and so many women, you are with someone or you are meeting them and getting to know them and you have that feeling, like, I don't like that. And you do not speak up. How often does that happen? So often for women. You don't use your voice, you silence yourself, you mute yourself, and then it just brews and brews. And at some point it explodes and we make them guilty. But we kind of felt that something was off, right? Something was off. But we don't know how to trust ourselves. We don't know because we were silenced. We were, stop being emotional. Don't listen to your feelings, or you are too much. Can you become, right? We switch off the emotions. We switch off the intuition. We don't know how to connect to that playfulness. As you say, everybody's so heavy in a dating, like a job interview. What's your five-year-old plan? What do
get the fuck?
Yeah, that's not a job interview.
When people are like, I spill it all on the first date. I'm like, did you run? How fast did he run? Like, I told him my 5-year plan. I told him I want kids. And I think don't answer that yet because I have another question. But like, where's the thin line of being very clear and honest about what you want? Because sometimes it is nice to tell someone like, I am looking for a committed relationship, because someone may not.
Correct.
So being clear about those things sometimes is important.
Correct.
But I think people really throw it all on the table and it is a lot.
But how do you throw it?
Because it's like, where do you fit into this plan?
How do you throw it on a table? If somebody asks you, what's your plan? I'm going to say it in a way that doesn't require the other person, the man, think I want it from him. I just met you.
Yes.
You need to earn space in my life.
Do y'all hear that? Say that again. I want you to look in that camera.
You need to earn the space in my life. Okay?
We treat business like that, but we don't treat
relationships.
Men like
that. Yeah, that's very, very different.
What do we always say in business? Like, know your worth. Don't undercharge. Don't neglect your value. Like,
have boundaries.
Have boundaries. Decide what you're worth and stand in it. And we don't do this in relationships. We don't do this in like exploring and dating and partnership.
Yes, because we were not taught to, right? So a lot of us, right? A lot of us. So we want the commitment. We want the happy story. So for me, I'm very clear on what I want. So when you go there, be clear. I didn't want to have a long-term relationship. I wanted to be married before I met my husband. But when I met him and we started dating, I didn't tell him, you need to propose within 3 months. No, but we were very clear. I am looking for whoever that person will be. I am looking, forward to building marriage and family and being together, 2 of us, and going really deep, not wide, but deep. So
not wide, but
deep, constant. I've been married for 11 years, 2 kids, moved around different countries, right? And continents. We have to be real. Relationships, like business, like everything in life you have intentional awareness and attention to yourself, to the container, to the other person, to the commitment, right? And what I see in dating very often, what happens is you went on 2 dates, they didn't work really well. So you say, all the men are horrible. There are not good men out there. I will struggle like all the time. It's my problem. No. Just look at what people are attracting. What within yourself still needs attention? What are you rejecting? What are you very harsh about? Oh, it takes so much work. Do you ever say it about business or your career? You go for your career goals. You go after your business goals. But in relationships or dating, we get so discouraged, right? I went on 2 dates. Great. Right? If you are a high achiever, you know what it took to be the best lawyer or the best doctor or the best business owner or the best whatever you are doing, right, in your space, and how you define being a high achiever, because we can have very different definitions of that, right? We get very easily discouraged and we almost like proving ourselves. Look, I told you there are no good men out there. Nobody's making an effort. They're all cheaters. Nobody wants a real relationship. They are
Instead
running.
of addressing that this
Correct.
is all I attract.
This is all I attract because I'm leaning forward. So when we speak of energy, I'm leaning forward. The leaning forward and pursuing, it's masculine energy. You as a woman who is single and is dating shouldn't be doing this. And even if you are married, I caught myself doing that at some point in my marriage. And I was like, wait a minute. Let me lean back. Like, You can watch yourself. If there is a date scheduled for you with someone and this person is not reaching out throughout the day, do not reach out to them and say, are we still on? Are we still seeing each other? It's his job to do so. He's the masculine energy. You need to be the one who waits for him to approach you, but you are an invitation. So, right? You receive. He gives, you receive. That's how it's polarity. It's polarity in a relationship. If you are both in masculine energy, you know what happens. So too much leaning forward sometimes as high achievers in dating and love. You are supposed to be the receiver. He's the giver.
I want to really pinpoint this, and forget y'all if you're going to pretend like this isn't true. But when you said that when dating, we try to pretend like, I would beg to differ that driven women get off on the first couple of dates pretending like they're not emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're used to emotional women. Let me show you that I'm not like that.
Let me show you I don't care.
Let me show you I don't care.
Great
I'm
without
tough.
you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do great without you. I'm very independent. You can choose me or not, up to you, but I'm going to do me. Like, and I'm just giving this very boss driven energy because I have pretended to do that before, when in reality, full disclosure, your girl's not like that. I'm a whole sucker for love. I definitely want someone to love me, and I'm dying to love someone back. So, and I'm going to say that, and y'all call it desperate or whatever you want, but I wish more people would own what they want, right?
It's not desperate. It's not clear.
It's not the husband. It's not the family thing that I want. I have learned how to do this by myself, but personally, I absolutely want connection and love.
Why wouldn't you? Literally, let's stop here.
Yes.
If I hear a person saying, I don't want a relationship, I will call you out.
Right.
Because we are made for what? For connection. Isolation will create depression, right? We need to connect. We are wired for connection. Why do we have a heart? Why do we feel attracted to people? We want connection. Can you do life on your own? Yes. But why would you if you can have a relationship?
Yeah.
And if I hear women say, I don't need a partner. Yes, but you want him.
Yes.
And if you say you don't, then there is some blocks there that you don't want to look at, and we can play all tough. But I do know that you do want that. And we can play the game of being tough. It creates so much anxiety for women. So the women that look tough and they like, I don't care, right? I know there is anxiety underneath there. I know that. So we do want men. Damn, I love men. First of all, we need to change conversation about men. I love men. There's so many amazing men out there.
You said something earlier, and I want you to repeat it for the camera. Is you said, I do not, what did you say? I don't put the thought out there about my husband. What was it? I don't talk about my husband.
I don't talk badly about my husband to anyone. It's a breach of trust and intimacy. I cannot imagine him being somewhere speaking of me, if we had a disagreement or let's say something, we are having a tough moment, right? Or I went through postpartum depression. Imagine that.
I just imagine a man with cigar sitting there like, that bitch is crazy. Like talking about his wife.
Never, ever. No, both me and my husband, we are very, very clear. Everything is discussed within the relationship and people can say whatever they think. We've been successfully married for 11 years. We discussed that together, and I know I had to learn how to, because I was this emotionally dysregulated person and I had to call 20 friends and tell them the story about my boyfriend. I do not do that ever because I've learned how to hold space for myself, right? And if I had to shut down to help myself sometimes, that's what I will do. But I will not speak badly of my husband because I understand that both of us come with our values, with our experiences. He can be exhausted or spread thin at work and with family. We have 2 kids. And I can feel this way sometimes too. So yes, sometimes it might
to be a
create
sacred, safe space.
Correct. So
you open that door to someone else to be like, you said it earlier, that asshole. And then what's going to happen between you and your husband? You're going to make up. And then now your friend's like, is your husband still being an asshole? And then you're like, yes. Now you have a third party in your marriage.
And second of all, how many of the people know how to be in healthy relationships? So why would I go and talk to someone when they,
There's a reason why we keep putting you on this podcast. I don't know a whole lot of other people.
There are people. So this is what I want to say. Find these people. There are people who are happily married and love marriage and are not scared of intimacy. I know plenty of people like this with kids. Okay. It doesn't mean that the 11 years or, how long you are together, that was easy breeze. It takes work. It takes, as I said, deep commitment, daily commitment, devotion to yourself and the other person. Okay. It's very intentional. What I think about my husband, how I am with him, how I am with myself to be available to him. It's all very intentional. Okay. It's not perfect. It's not every day the same, but it's intentional, right? There is no balance. It's more flow, meaning we do know how to reconnect. We know how to create the space for ourselves, right? And for each other. And I know how to ask him. I would say, honey, I would love to be hugged right now. Just being hugged by you makes me feel so safe. Guess what he will do? He will hug me instead of me saying, a lot of women do that. So watch out. We say, you don't hug me enough. I feel like we became friends. What do you think the guy will do? Do you think your partner will feel inspired, right, to come and love you? No, they want you to be happy. High quality men want their women to be happy. That's their mission. I want you to be happy. I will do whatever it takes. So if we tell them and speak in a way that makes them feel like they're not doing a great job, it's not going to be inspiring to them. Right? So how can I say that? I can say, I love you and I've been missing out on the connection this week.
You know what? I just really want to highlight this for a second, what you just said. Years ago, I said this on a podcast with someone I was in a relationship that didn't work out. But I will, and I got chastised for it. People were like, if you have to go that far in a relationship, then it's not a good relationship for you. Granted, it didn't work out. But one of the things I felt the safest about in that relationship was what you just said. I was never made weak, and I never got to the place of blame typically when it came for unmet needs for me, because he did give me the space to, I remember so many times having one conversation and then finally getting to that place, what you're saying. And I remember he would work 4 or 5 days, very committed, working on something. And I could go in there and say, hey, I have felt like you're here, but you're not here. So we're in the same house, but I miss you.
I miss you.
And he would be like, okay, you want to go on a date tonight or tomorrow night? What do you want to do? Or come here, come sit here. Let me, and even though I knew he wasn't that type of person, would hug me and like, I know you need this and you want this right now. That emotional safety kept me from being like, you want someone else. You don't love me anymore. You treat me like your friend. Like we go directly into pointing fingers, victimizing ourselves and blame.
Correct.
And just that open door of being able to say, I need a hug. I would literally go into his office and be like, I need a hug.
Yes, because he can't read your mind.
Yes.
Like I have women, we've been married so long. He should read my mind. Nobody is a mind reader.
Honey, he's too focused on taking care of the family financially.
And there is, pressure.
And let's breaking down the bag. He's too focused on breaking down the bag, securing the house, protecting everyone, making sure that your fortress, your kingdom, your place is that no one else has the keys to it and that he's taking care of business. And we're over here frantic because you don't hug me enough this week.
And it's okay to feel that, right? Yes. But then what do you do about that? Are you an invitation to him, or are you prickly all the time too, right? So I want this attention and I want connection, but how am I an invitation? Correct? Am I connected to what I need and I'm being playful, or I'm being vulnerable and really saying, like, I think women, especially high achievers, we've been taught, cut off your emotions. Don't be emotional. Don't be a drama queen. This is weak. All the things.
And it's killing us. No,
right.
And so we've carried it over to relationships.
Yes. But what it does,
I'll come in here and show you how to do this.
Yeah. And please stop giving advice to men when they don't ask for advice. They don't need a mother. They already have one. Correct. They don't need you to fix them. They don't need you. Literally, that's what we spend so much time on, trying to help them and fix them so often. And I found myself at some point doing this, and I caught myself, if your partner comes home and he had a bad day at work or something, you can feel something is off, and you ask him, and then he starts telling you what is off. You immediately have all the ideas how you can fix this. No, you should be doing this and you can do that. And right.
But that's us being wildly masculine again, because what do men do? Have you ever called and vented to a man? What do? They immediately go into fix it mode. They're like, okay, so here's my thoughts. Here's what you could probably do. And you're like, no. I needed to get this out.
Correct.
That is masculine energy.
But that's what we do in relationships very often. often. And so the man comes and he wants you to hold the space for him because you are the only space for him, right? When he's with men, it's all masculine energy.
You are the only space for him. Did y'all hear that? I really want you to look at me when I say this. You are the only space for him. You are his emotional safety. You are the container that he's looking at to be soft with, because cannot be this with his friends.
Yes.
So he's looking at you and you are literally trying to fix shit.
So again, you work more, you lean forward, right? So you will be working more to make him happy and keep him and all the things feel desired instead of just holding space. So when he comes home and he says, my day was horrible and, it was very hard. This didn't work. I'm stressed out. We immediately go to, what do you need? How can I help you? I will have, all the solutions for you, instead of saying, I'm so sorry, honey. That sounds like a very hard day. And the end. That's it. And then he feels what? Heard and understood. And he just released whatever he needed to release, right? And then he feels open to ask you, how was your day? But we immediately go into fixing and giving advice, right? And so they are not looking for that. High quality men, healthy men, they're not looking. Aware men, they're not looking for that. They really want you. They want to feel safe with you as well. They want you to be comfortable with all of you, with all your emotions, with your anger. You can express anger in a very healthy way. I feel angry right now. This didn't feel great for me. Right?
Right.
If you can do that with him and yourself, he will be able to feel very more relaxed with you and more open and more himself as well, and tell you how he feels, right?
Yes.
Instead of pretending we're all great and then constantly be in a fixer mode. So that's what we do. We attach too early. We go on a date and we immediately think we are together forever because we are on a plan and, I need
Ladies,
to have a kid.
We got to chill out.
There was an example like, you are a high achiever, and let's say you have people working on your house, right? And your partner says, or the man you are dating says, I can talk to them. I can handle this for you. And you say, no, I've got this. Right? Yes, you've got this, but let him do that because he wants to.
Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Because I know every single one of my girls is like, if he don't do it fast enough or he don't do it the way that I want it done, stop. I got this. And it is like this, like, not only is it, we'll take control like we do in everything else, but it's this like, you're not doing what I want at the speed in which I want it done. And therefore you're not qualifying yourself to me. Therefore I will take over. I got this. Not only does it emasculate them.
How does that feel for you?
Yes.
Horrible.
And it doesn't make us happier. We think like, we'll take it. I got it. As if that was going to fix, not only is it going to fix the current problem, but it's going to make us happier. When in reality, it just emasculates them and makes us feel worse about the situation that we're in.
And you work more again and you do more again. Like you don't want to be doing more. You want to be relaxed.
What am I in a valued partnership for again?
For being you. What an amazing, crazy idea. You are valued for being your fabulous self and loving off parts of yourself and making an emotionally safe space for him and yourself.
Okay, we're going to go light on the trauma for a second. But just, you may have kind of said this earlier, but I just want to highlight this, is like, one of the main reasons many of us, not all of us, but many of us are high achieving or driven women is because of the wounds that we harbor.
Correct.
It's the trauma we're running from, right? You're either running towards pleasure or away from pain. So you are showing up as your best self as often as possible to meet some unvalidated or unworthy wound from long, long ago. And then we end up in relationships looking for them to provide us with the exact same thing, for them to prove to us that, to constantly validate that we are indeed worthy. Remember when I shared that the other day in that book I was reading, it said, we put what did it say? It said, we impose upon our lover the requirement to validate everything that we've been missing our entire childhood, when in reality, the way we act is that we do nothing but the sort. So all we do is move around and act as if we're unworthy, but we impose upon our lover to prove to us that we indeed are.
Correct. So again, we say it's not the man.
Forever unmet need.
It's not the man, it's us, right? So as I say, if you don't if you don't work with that part of yourself that feels unworthy, you will be attracting the man that, will prove that you're unworthy. Correct?
A mirror,
correct.
Now I'm
mirror.
dating, and every time I find a trigger, I'm like, is this you or is this me?
I always look at myself first, and then you can
Yes.
figure it out as you go. But with the performance and achievements, performance, success equals I'm worthy, I'm enough, I'm valuable, right? It can come from so many different places. But one, for example, if I have a lot of clients who are first generation Americans, and when their parents moved here, expectations were high. We came here for you. We came for your better future. You better perform.
Yep.
There is no whining. Stop those emotions. Don't be crazy. Why are you wilder than your other siblings? Why are you different?
You have a better life than most people. Show up for it.
So that's what we do. So what do? We start performing so our parents give us validation. Good job. Well done. All A's. Perfect. Honor roll student. Wonderful. You are not going to struggle in life, right? So very early on, we learn how to work for the validation. Right? Mm-hmm. Perfect. One scenario, right? And but also what happens sometimes is very interesting, because we are almost forced into being so logical and high performing. Sometimes we will misbehave as children and have tantrums, right? Because that's the only way we will get more attention from our parents.
I've definitely had some tantrums as a 33-year-old.
And then you go to dating. And when the guy you date is not paying attention, guess what? You're going to throw a tantrum, because negative attention is better than no attention. Comes from childhood. Do you understand? Are you reading this? You got a blueprint of how to relate, how to behave, how to get attention from your childhood, from your parents. So if you don't know your blueprint and you don't understand the blueprint, you will be repeating it. You will be just repeating it because it's very subconscious, right? So I would have women that are so successful and they were like, why get so emotional? You get emotional because that's how you got attention in your childhood. Or you get emotional because everybody told you, suck it up, stop being emotional. This is too much for me. And now you are trying to still learn what to do with all those emotions when you get triggered. So they overwhelm you, right? So very often high achievement, success equals I'm worthy, right, comes from the very early, parenting relationship.
Again, not too deep into the trauma, because I know where we'll wrap this up at, but I want to bring this up for somebody else. I was working with my therapist recently, and shout out to Heather. Yeah. And she said something to me that was mind blowing, which I feel like this is going to relate to a lot of driven women. She was like, it's so wild to see you in both capacities. And she said, it's actually incredible. She said, you're two completely different people. And I'm not a Gemini, by the way. She was like, she said, you are so powerful. You have learned how to make your mark in your space, in your industry, as a speaker, as a storyteller. She was like, if you lacked any confidence or had any insecurities, one would not see it. Correct. She was like, because you know your value and your worth in that space. She said, you transition to relationships and you literally, your map is victimization. Crumble. Y'all want to say, listen, I could be behind a stage with 1,000 people waiting for me to talk. Your girl is excited. You put me in dating and relationship, I'm crying every other day. Like, your girl is a water bag. And I'm like, why did this person do this? Why did they do this? What is happening? Why are you not?
You see, I want you to notice she's focusing too much on other people. Why did they do that? I don't care why they did that. I need to understand why. I keep engaging?
I get really ashamed of myself.
No, okay. So bring that shame forward.
Shadows.
Bring this shame forward. I am ashamed. I acted like a 2-year-old. Great. Perfect. I acted out like a kid having a tantrum.
There needs to be a new question of like, how old are you? 33. How old are you in relationships? 7.
Correct. Something happened. Something stopped there, right? And it's okay, but bring it forward and get really interested. Okay, why did you do it when you were 7? Why did you do it when you were 5? Dig into the inner child. Understand that inner child. Instead of shaming it, shame on you. Okay, what was happening?
You told me this. Didn't you?
What did I tell you? So many things. What do you want to say?
Yo, ask yourself the question she just asked, because that was such a good question of like, why did I do this when I was 7 years old? And we've had someone on the podcast say that before. Like, people see us as the successful 30-year-old something, but like they don't see our 7-year-old self. That it's not their responsibility to see our 7-year-old self. It's ours. And when you say that, I literally thought back to, and it was either you or Heather that said this to me, that I do that because I was taught my entire childhood to be a chameleon to keep one of my parents happy.
Correct.
It was constantly evolving, constantly being careful, constantly being cautious of what I said or did, because it was just, please, I could protect myself and one of my parents to protect us all. And so it was being a chameleon to keep things quiet and safe.
So smart.
And so and then smart. In a relationship, I'm like, as soon as something doesn't work or there's a trigger, I'm like, well, what? I didn't change fast enough. I didn't move fast enough.
Okay, but so this is what we need to notice. Your 7-year-old or whatever the age is running you now. That's a no. You are a child. Okay. So this is what I say. I welcome my inner child. I say, I love you. I see you. I feel your anxiety. I will never abandon you. And I'm in charge. I will make you feel safe, because at 7, you did what was so smart. You made sense. I will be the chameleon. So both parents are happy. I'm happy. We're all safe. Great. Happy family. But at 33, at 40, this is not your story anymore. You are not a 7-year-old anymore. Correct? We cannot be making decisions from a 7-year-old when you are 33 or 40. We have so much more understanding now. We have so much more capacity to be with ourselves. Okay. So I love you, my 7-year-old. That was so smart. But you need to trust me. I run the show now and I will keep you safe. And we are not doing this anymore. Do you understand me? We are not doing this anymore. You don't have to fear me that I will behave like a 7-year-old again. You are home with me, but you are not running the show, because now I'm an adult. Do you see? I see you. I love you. I feel your anxiety. You will always be a part of me. But I am the one making decisions. And I don't have to be chameleon anymore, because listen to this. I don't have to be chameleon. Why?
I don't know.
Why not?
Because I got this.
Because I choose to. And it's made me painful, but it's so painful to be constantly pretending and chameleon and fuck that shit. Listen. Fuck that shit. Okay. I'm sorry for my language, but we've been programmed to keep quiet and make others happy. Okay, at 7 made sense. Not anymore. Yes, there is safety. Yes, but look around you. Are you safe? You're safe. Right? We need to work with the nervous system. You need to understand that. Do whatever you need to do to feel safe in your body and with yourself and with the support system. No more compromising. No more compromising. Hold yourself to high standard.
No more locked doors.
High standard for yourself.
Okay, hold on. I really want you guys to catch me when I say this. Some of you heard what Ludmilla said and you thought to yourself, like, well, I definitely don't let the 7-year-old me run the show. But let me tell you something. And I'm not speaking for all of you, but please consider exploring this, because I thought, and I've expressed this recently, that I'm on a journey where I'm noticing my patterns only last a certain time. So I can only hold my own weight for 6 months, maybe 8. And then like all my shit comes roaring up and it's like, no, you didn't finish those. We need to go back. And I did this work with, she calls herself a spiritual intuitive. And I'm only bringing this up because I thought I was there too. I was like, I've been in long-term relationships. I've done the work. I've done the healing. And I was like, my 7-year-old is good. And then I did this exercise with her where she made me integrate with my 7-year-old self. And oh my God, I was bawling my eyes out, because she put me in this place where I had to literally get dressed as myself. I drove to my old house. I walked into my house. I had to go get my 5-year, it was actually my 5-year-old self. I had to go get her. And it was crazy because you're just there in this trance. And she clung to me. She wanted me to protect her. And we went and had a conversation with my mother, and we went and had a conversation with my father. But what's really crazy was she was like, get her, put her in your car, like, what does she say? And like, I heard little me like, oh, this is a nice car. Like, she was like, strap her in, bring her home. I brought her to my house. she was like, put her in something fun. What does she want to wear? Like I saw her put on this like fun dress that she could twirl around in, like jelly shoes. And I took her on the balcony. This is all in my mind in this hypnosis session. And I take her on the balcony and she's like, how does she feel? What is she doing? And I could tell she was so happy and so free. She was so different from where she was at the house to being here. I got to introduce her to my son. I literally cried while they were introducing themselves to each other. And then she made me take her on the balcony and say, you see what I did? Like, I know what you think. And I know you think at some point it's all going to be over, or you're going to have to change who you are to keep it, but I got this and you're safe. And like, you get to like, I know you want to run the show, but like, I have you now. I've got this. You're not going back home. You're not going back to that house. You live here. You're safe. And I had to like integrate with her. And I'm telling you guys this because I thought my 7-year-old was okay in dating, relationships, and life too. And when I went to that place, it was incredible and just jarring to see how much of her still lived in me.
But this is what I want to say. We have parts of ourselves. We have parts that are protective. We have parts that want to numb ourselves, right? We have different parts of our psyche. Those parts are not going away, okay? So when we say you can be more in a secure relationship with yourself and others, yes, but it doesn't mean that your parts will never be triggered, that the part that is a perfectionist, that the part that wants to run a show, that the part that wants to numb, that they will never be triggered. They will come out. They are protective mechanisms. They keep us safe for a reason, okay? Don't expect that you will, constantly feel secure all the time. But if those parts, if you can recognize them and see them, showing up, right, through you, just be curious, be loving. Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you protecting me? What do I need to do? Have the conversation with different parts of yourself. Look at the internal family systems. That's what it is. We have a part of us like the manager, the perfectionist, the planner, the pleaser. It's very managerial, doesn't want to deal with any feelings. Yeah, that part of us is very real. And then we have part of us that wants to numb, eat, drink, have sex with multiple people, not to address just numb. It's like you take a hose and you hose the feelings that are coming up because you don't want to deal with them. That's what it is.
And
give me something, right? That's where the addiction comes from, right? Give me something. Is it porn? Whatever that is. And there is the exile part of us, right? The exile, the shame, the lonely, the inner child, right? And there is the self that is, we want to be self-led, the curious, the compassionate, the clear, calm, connected, curious, right? So all those parts make us. We want to be able, we always have access to the self and be, and we can be self-led, but doesn't mean that the parts that want to protect and want to numb and, the inner child will never come up. They are coming up and they will be showing up. Don't make it a problem. Build a relationship with those parts of yourself. Understand why they show up. Understand how to talk to those parts of yourself instead of, that's horrible. I will never attract this guy. My relationships will always be a mess. Like, no, it's okay. Those parts make us us. They're there for a reason. We are such a smart beings, right? Yeah.
Okay. We went real deep, real fast. I'm gonna wrap with this because I want some.
Yes. Can I add something?
Yes.
Okay. Also for women, if you're a high achiever, please don't commit to one guy from the get-go after 2 dates, okay? Because this is what happens. We cut our options very fast, right? So that's what I tell my clients. No sex for at least 2 months. Not because you can't have sex, go at it. But if you want to have a long-term relationship with a person that you really see for who they are, okay? The moment you become very intimate, what happens? It's like we have this thing come over us and we see this person through another perspective, lens, correct? Yeah. Because we women, we want to connect. Yeah. We want to,
be my everything.
Yeah, be my everything.
Now.
Perfect. So what I say, you can be seeing different types of men, like 3 or 4, right? And go out for dinners, meet with them, learn them. It's not your boyfriend yet or whatever. It's not your, husband to be.
Prove to themselves. They need to prove to you that they are worthy of your exclusivity.
Correct. Not you. I'm exclusive with guy I saw twice. Who are you? I don't even know you. I don't even know how you do conflict. Listen.
Did you see that TikTok the other day? That shit was so funny. But I was like, yo, she's right. The girl was like, she's like, I better not be your best friend for 15 years and I'm at your wedding. No. And she's like, and if I hear you at the altar say, I'm about to marry my
best friend.
I'm about to marry the love of my life and my best friend. She goes, I'm going to jump up and be like, your best friend, that bum you've known for a year, you haven't even known him for 15 years. And I was in there thinking like, wow, we really do make a man our everything immediately.
Correct.
Like when we've got much deeper relationships than that.
Correct. We make them everything, put him on pedestal, and now we, no. Be like I say, circular date, mean no sex with any of these men, but you can date 3 or 4, not date, meet them.
Put the camera on me for a minute. Look, y'all. I don't know if you heard what she said, but what she actually said was we allowed to have a hot girl summer and we can be in these streets. Y'all ready? Because if you see me outside, do not. I don't want to hear it because Ludmilla said I could date 3 to 4 men at a time. So if you see me looking for the pick of the litter, I'm circular dating.
Because you know what
I'm not in these streets. I'm circular dating.
But you know what it teaches you?
What?
You pick up on red flags like this. Because I had a client and she was seeing for no sex with any of them, no kissing, nothing. I'm getting to know you. Do I even feel safe with you for you to touch me? I don't know. Do you even deserve to kiss me? I don't know. I'm getting to know you. You are getting to know me, vice versa. Okay. So now I will go out with different men and I will see what feels great. If we go to exclusivity, that's very different. Okay.
Yes.
But this is what happens.
Too. That needs to be clear too.
Correct. Because you maybe don't want to be exclusive
we're
yet.
Like 4 dates. I like this one the most.
No.
There's my man.
No.
He's the one. I'm exclusive.
No.
I'm done.
Nope. And you are not bringing that conversation as a high achieving woman. You are not leading into exclusivity. Let him be the man. Right? So because this is what happens. If you do that in dating and then you get in a relationship and a marriage, guess what? If you've been leading, you will be leading this whole relationship. And then when you get kids or at some point you get so exhausted and you want to shift the energy into let me be the woman, you do more. And the guy is like, hello, what happened? For 10 years, you've been this woman. Now you want me to shift? No. Right? And the more you are in your masculine, the more feminine men you will attract, the men that want to be led and have no problem with you leading. So check yourself.
No, we got to start the episode all over because this was what I wanted to hear. Hold on. Bruh, did y'all hear that? Did you hear what she said? If you end up leading the relationship in the beginning, you will lead the entire relationship and you will wake up at 5, 6, 7 years or the mother of 2 children and be like, I'm freaking exhausted. I'm married, but I'm single. I'm married, but I'm alone. I'm married, but I'm tired. And it's because you started the relationship that way.
Correct. Because that's how you lead.
Because you entered in your masculine.
Yes. Stop that. Lean back.
I'm just like this because I feel so heard right now. And I know people like this.
Because you had a plan. You look at the man and this is your plan. I'm going to marry him. This is how it's going to go. This is what we are doing. And you don't even realize.
When you're leading though, this is a man that likes you a lot in the beginning. Likes you a lot and willing to do whatever. But he's really not doing a lot.
He just
likes you a lot.
Also like, it's like he will go like, do this. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. But it's also a specific type of a man, right? Like my husband would never go with this. If I would be starting like, right? And I don't say I'm not a leader. I'm a leader in different ways. But in our relationship,
I want to lead out there and be soft with you.
Correct. But that's a shift, right? It's like we always laugh. We have a joke with my husband because I was the one that reached out first. But then I lean back and he always laughed. He's like, but I responded. And he organized all the dates. He reached out. I was receiving. I started, meaning I'm an invitation. I will smile. I will be soft. I will be playful. But he needs to be the one that will take you further. So if you are dating and some of the men are not doing it, then you learn, right? Not from me. Or if you want to be constantly in a driver's seat, good luck with that.
As a driven, in the driver's seat. Exhausting. So this is what I wanted to wrap with because I literally was like, let's be applicable and teach these women how to lean in. But this is coming from a recovering, still driven woman in relationships. This is the real lesson. Mm-hmm. It's not that you won't find men that do this. It is leaning in or leaning back and allowing, but it's then if they don't lean forward,
you know what to do.
that you just learn that you know what to do. That has been the hardest part, because as a controller, I wasn't going to use the word freak, as a control freak or someone that knows what they want. Well, like, I like you. I know what I want. I haven't heard from you for 3 days. I'm just being facetious.
Yes.
But like, so can we go do something? And then you're not feeling like you're receiving anything. You have to go get it or chase for it or ask for it. And if you're not getting it, that's enough. That's the sign. That's enough. If someone is not, if you have engaged, you both feel like you like each other and you lean back and they're not doing anything, the lesson being that's a lesson is a lot. To be like, okay, now you know what you need to do. That's it. Like,
you need to be busy with your own life and enjoy yourself and be in a receiving with other people and yourself. Date yourself. I always say date yourself. Correct? So you are not in this needingness of, oh, if he comes in my life will be perfect. You be happy with yourself. Doesn't mean perfect. As I said, not every day is, sunshine and all the things. Be happy with yourself, at peace with yourself, Date yourself, literally take yourself out, not only nails and everything. Like, really, how am I feeling today? What do I need? How can I be in my creative space? What brings me joy? What lights me up? Dancing, music, whatever that is, right? Being out with my favorite people. Go on a trip by yourself. Don't wait for that man to complete you, because you need to be complete before you meet him. And do not chase. Do not chase. Do not chase. Sit back. Let the man come. And the right man will come, because the right man wants to pursue you. He wants to court you. He wants you to be an invitation. That's what he wants. That's what the man wants. And we can talk about men and women being equal. We are not the man in a heterosexual relationships. Correct? We are not the man. We are confused. Stop being confused. Sit back, have fun with yourself, be playful. Be
Stop
an
trying to be the
invitation.
CEO of your relationship.
Stop being.
I heard it. You heard it here first. That's what I heard. Stop trying to be the CEO of your relationships.
In your marriage too, if you are married, because that's about dating. But when you get in a relationship, that's where sometimes women shift too, right? Now we are married. So let's see how that goes. The more time you spend together, let me tell you what to do. Let me tell you your plan for your career, what you should be doing. This is what I think is best for you. Did he ask you? Yeah. That's how we become the mothers and the fixers. And you know what? That kills the intimacy. That kills the desire. Like that.
I don't know if we actually uncovered anything. I just am really sad now. That's all. I'm just depleted and deflated. Like, okay, so I don't know how this is going to go moving forward.
I will tell you, the more you meet men and you experience because it's meeting multiple men is not for the men, it's for you to learn how do I feel around them, how comfortable I am expressing myself and having fun and being open. And when I see something I don't like, how comfortable I am saying this and expressing it in a feminine way, not aggressive way. There is a difference, right? And what I see with my clients is that even if it doesn't, work out with the first guy that they decided to, let's say, okay, this one feels like the good match and something happens along the way. Yes, it's disappointing. Of course it is. But what they learn is like, okay, wow, that's disappointing. That took some work. I've learned a lot. And now I know I would not agree to this.
Yes.
Something happened and now it's a hard no. Where 3 months ago, it would be still, all the excuses for him. And no more. He's still a good person, but it's a no. Correct?
Yes.
That's how you learn. It's a progress. Like, be in the process. Be in the process. Don't hurry. It's gonna come. Be in the process. Be open.
You know what's crazy? And we can wrap with this is like, I just kept hearing you say this phrase of like, don't go wide, go deep. Mm-hmm. And as I'm hearing you talk, it feels like it kind of spans across everything in our life, from friendships. Like the minute you go wide in friendships and you start talking to other people about other people, that's when things get shitty. Like when really it's a calling to get deep with an individual person. Same thing with relationships. When there's a calling for you to go deep, when there's a calling, some of y'all don't want to hear this. this is really for myself. You can mute this part if you'd like. When there's a calling for your life, feels like it's in chaos and you feel constantly betrayed and love is frozen. And it's really a calling for you to go deep with God or whatever spirituality that you feel called to. But instead we go wide, we go seeking it in all these other places, drinking and addiction and egotistical connection and all these things. And also dating is an opportunity for us to go deep with ourselves.
It's all about going deep with yourself.
Yes.
And that's why I say
You
we
are
are confused.
yourself.
Like you can only go so deep with someone as deep you can go with yourself. Right? So if I feel I'm avoidant in relationships because I have lack of trust because of something happened in my childhood or because of previous men, correct? If I am not facing this part of me that's avoidant, if I'm not facing and being present with that part that is so scared, right? And I will just like move over, more success here, right? Guess what? I will attract somebody who will be as uncomfortable with their level of intimacy with themselves as I am. So it's always about me because I'm an energetic being. We are energy. So the vibration is on specific level depending on how much I love all those parts of me that I'm ashamed of and I want to hide. And you know what? I'm fearful in relationships. If you can be so comfortable with that part and say it out loud, I'm so fearful, I'm so scared, and I want to avoid, and I can see how I am trying to avoid, but I will choose to sit in discomfort, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of running and avoiding, mm-hmm. right? Build that deep connection with yourself. That's what it's really about. The dating is not about the man, it's about you. How deep can you go with yourself? How true can you be to yourself? Be true with yourself. You don't like something, you say that, right? If you need to set a boundary, you do that. Go deep with yourself first, always. And the person will match that.
So something that I am learning, and some of you may well know this is just for me, is every time I catch myself triggered in a dating situation or wanting more or just like needing more validation from the person or more desire or something. I immediately, like you said, you're supposed to look at yourself first, but I immediately am just practicing going, okay, what are you seeking right now? Not from him, but for you. And what can you give yourself more of? Right now, you're seeking someone to show you that they desire you because you're looking for validation. You're looking for love. You're looking for trusting yourself or whatever it is. And then how can I give myself more of this right now? Because the more I can fill my cup with this for myself, the more I don't necessarily need it from you. And ironically and effortlessly, I usually get it from the other person because I'm giving it to myself. So instead of not getting it at all, I almost get it twofold. I get it from myself and then from the other person.
Because you are not needy in this scenario. It's okay to have needs. I'm all for that. Like I needed, like I even told this morning, my husband, he was leaving and he was in a hurry. He gave me a kiss and I wanted a more juicier kiss. Okay. I express myself, right? But it's not like I'm needy. If you leave me, I'm going to die here. And, but I would love that. So you can always do that. But it's a difference if it comes from complete emptiness, like I'm nothing without you, right? Or I know I'm myself and I still want that. It's very different. So yes, give to yourself always, always first, even if it looks messy and even if it looks, you think this is not good enough. It is. Just pay attention to yourself. Go all in with yourself first. And then the relationships will start shifting. And then you will attract people like that. And I will tell you, when I hear women say, oh, there are not enough good men, there are not enough this. Well, you are attracting this. If you believe there are not good enough and not enough good men there or all good men are taken, you will attract everything you don't want. I know plenty of great men. I know plenty of great marriages. But if I'm surrounded by people that would say, marriage sucks and why would you even do that, then that's what I attract and that's what I choose.
Married man cheats.
Correct.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's such a nonsense. Honestly, like women don't cheat. Women cheat too. Correct. So but I choose who I surround myself with. All my friends, like I have a lot of friends with really good marriages, with kids. When people say kids will kill your marriage, you have to be intentional awareness and commitment over and over and over again.
There's so much more we could cover on this, but this was so good. I want to wrap with some applicable things from you. Is when we as in me, we as in you, because I'm going to do this for all of us, is what are some ways that you've taught your clients to lean in a little bit when dating and then lean back and receive? Because this feels like something we may have to practice. So what are some ways that we can lean back and receive, like applicable?
Well, first of all, I would start just even with your friends, when you are just around people or by yourself, like even your body, if you would sit back and just let your head go all the way and just like relax in a chair, like relax your whole body. Because very often we as women and like go all the way to the back, like see how your shoulders are. Normally they're here because we are constantly in, the body is ready to do things. Being with yourself present. Like, so for example, I say, go out even on your own and just smile at people. Be open, be an invitation. Talk to a clerk at the store. Talk to another woman somewhere when you are running or walking, like look at someone and just smile. That's being an invitation. I'm open, not immediately for sexual relationship, but I'm open to connection. I'm open to receiving, correct? To like, you look at me, I look at you, and then you talk to me, correct? How often, like I have women tell me all the time, I went for a walk and then I just looked at someone and I smiled and he started conversation with me, right? So it's a process of being open, not being constantly walking on a street and nobody talk to me right now. I'm so confident. Don't approach me. This used to be me. And then I was surprised why a man wouldn't approach me. Okay. I look confident. Right? Go out by yourself and sit by yourself. Have a glass of wine or have a dinner and just look around. Don't be on your phone. Be present. I did that for your birthday. I was an hour early. What do you think? I sat at the bar by myself. I looked at the people that were working there. I smiled at the people that were enjoying their dinner. I looked at my glass and I just held it. And I was just really paying attention to this one object for 1 minute. Being present. How does this glass really feel like? How does the water feel like? What does it make me feel? Do you know? We don't know that. How does it feel? Wild?
When you explain that anytime I do something like that, I feel very in my feminine.
Correct, because you are present.
When I'm like conversing with strangers or being present, I feel very like soft and girly and just like...
Yes, like a small girl within you.
Yes,
like, let's play.
I feel very playful and creative and just like... and happy and like I get that feminine essence from myself.
Correct.
Because I'm not trying to control a situation. I'm just simply being.
Yeah, and you are being interested too, right? So like deep listening, even with your friends, practice deep listen. We think we listen, but we listen for fixing. So listen without fixing. Really listen to hold space and see how that goes. I did it at some point with my husband when we were on a date and I could see my brain go here and I had to bring myself back and say, wow, okay. I could notice if I go off, you know what I mean? I have so many ideas, let me tell you, right? So literally practicing that, that's why I say if you are going out with multiple men, that's what you are practicing. Listening, being open with your body. How does that feel? If you feel anxious and he's talking, how do you ground yourself in that moment? Noticing this anxiousness in yourself, saying, I'm feeling anxious in your brain and just drop in your body, right? So it's really practicing being in the process of being present, being curious, being playful.
And what would you tell a driven woman when needs are unmet in dating? Like he said he was going to call me when he got off of work and he didn't. He said we were going to go out tonight.
But wait, are we exclusive or are we just like it's him and 3 other guys?
Good point. That's a really good question. Him and 3 other guys. Is she still outside?
Correct, because
good point,
right? Because listen, if I'm seeing you for 2 weeks and you don't reach out to me, my life keeps going. I'm not reaching out. Why would I reach out to you if you're not reaching out to me? We just met 3 times. You want to pursue me, you better be on it. I'm the price. I am the price. correct?
Yes.
Okay, why would I be concerned with some guy that I met for three times? We went to a dinner. Now I'm like, why isn't he calling me? Okay, it means I'm focusing too much on him, not on myself and my process. Okay. Correct. Okay, if we are exclusive, and you and me and we are dating with an idea to have marriage or long-term, whatever that is for you, right? Everybody's different. For me, it was marriage. I'm not doing anything else. And if he doesn't call, yes, I would say I feel a bit confused and disappointed. I thought, I thought you will be calling, or I thought there will be a phone call. And if he starts getting defensive, right? They're also different than, you didn't call me. What's wrong with you? Very different. Okay. That's very masculine, right?
Yes.
Like that's very, yeah. No, I was, I feel disappointed. I felt we will be seeing each other, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. And then depending on his response, if he's dismissive, like, hell no, I'm not doing this, right? I'll be like, well, that sounds very dismissive. I understand that didn't feel like this for you. Like, that's how do we do conflict, right? It still feels true to me. Correct. Mm-hmm. But I'm very clear on what I'm expecting, meaning I have expectations that I'm the price. I create the space and I want to be treated a certain way, right? So if I feel like you are not making an effort, okay. Like billions of people on the planet. Correct?
It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what you say. You make us feel like, okay, shit. I'm really overdoing this for no reason.
You are overdoing it because you get in the scarcity mindset. It's like in business. Scarcity mindset. There are only 7 men that I know that will
hangs self with cord like this, wraps around neck like this. Yeah, literally. Hold on. I need someone to hear what she just said. You know good and damn well, based on manifestation or anything else that you attract into your life, anything that comes out of your mouth, you attract. Anything that you believe, you attract. We can say this in business over and over and over again, that if you start to believe in scarcity, you start to believe in, not that inflation's not happening, but you start to engulf yourself and anxiously believe it to be true. We all know what will happen in business. We will start to see the effects of it almost immediately. You will attract the effects of it. Mm-hmm. But yet, we believe in scarcity and dating. Mm-hmm. Like, well, but I thought he was the one. He was the one. What happened?
I will tell you, it's so interesting because I had a conversation with a few of my clients and it shows up, right?
There's
because
no one else on this earth with 7 billion.
Correct. Nobody else. He was one. But what is interesting is I had this conversation with 2 of my women, and it's so beautiful because it just shows the pattern, right? That we are so easily, we want to give up so easily because, we are so great at our businesses and careers. And I said, okay, so you went out with this guy, it didn't work out. And now you think it's so hard. It's going to take so much time and they're not good guys. And I will always track this and this. And I said, okay, you look at your business and your career and they're very successful. And I said, why didn't you quit? Like in the beginning, it was hard. Yeah. Professionally, to become this person professionally, it took years and years. And you know what the answer is? Well, I knew it's going to work out. I'm committed and I believe in myself and I know it's available. Arjo, just keep going. And I said, so why aren't you using this exact belief in your dating? Why are you this exact belief in your dating? Why aren't you using it? Silence, right? Because there's some disbelief that it's possible for me.
I got a cramp. I got to get up.
And then we go into scarcity and then we start, attaching ourselves to people that are not for us from this scarcity, right? Like in business, we've done that too. I took on some clients that maybe I, shouldn't have, let's say in the beginning, or maybe that was not a good match. But in the beginning of a business, you might do things like this without awareness, correct? Mm-hmm. And the more confident you are, the more you believe in yourself, you make better choices. It's the same in dating and marriage and life, everywhere, right? Across the board. So,
I know you guys thought that Ludmilla and I could not possibly find anything else to talk about, but literally we could. And we could go on for hours about this. Hours. But here's what I hope you took from this episode is, even though we are so driven, we're so incredibly driven, y'all. Maybe you consider yourself a high achieving woman, whatever you consider yourself. And I've heard my friends and myself amongst those conversations, and I'm really sorry to put us on blast, but I've heard the things like, does he not know who I am? Like, does he, does he like look at me and look at her? Like, I've heard the things that are said in these conversations, just where women are like wondering why they feel so inadequate when they find someone they really want. And I hope in this conversation, what you really heard is even though you've been wildly successful in business or whatever you're building, there's still a really huge opportunity for us to look in the mirror in ourselves and dating, because that's completely different work. Completely different work. Mm-hmm. Like, Anne, you said at the beginning of this episode, and I hope you guys heard it loud. I really hope you heard this part, because I had to eat this part. Just because you are successful does not mean a man needs to give a shit. They do not care. They do not care. Like, we want our resume and our business success to speak so loudly for us and make us stand out and be unique. And in reality, like, yes, it does in certain situations, but it does not when it comes to dating, because you drag that masculine energy over to dating, and now you're not. That makes us a little less attractive, y'all. I just gotta say it. It just makes us a little annoying.
It makes you attractive to the more feminine men that want to be led by strong energy, but it doesn't make you.
And then you're leading the relationship and the motherhood 10 years later.
Hell no. Yeah, it's step out of it. So yes, you need to lean into more being yourself, like the girl in you, the girl that knows how to play and be playful and dance and don't give a, just being, when we were kids and we were on the playground and you did, all the things, right?
I love that it was like flicks hair back. That was the face she gave me. Like.
Yeah, I know. And, and the boy side of you, the protector, right? That's the boy side of you that is like, no, that's a no. And you need to be careful and you need to be protected and you need to be in charge. And very often we think when we are in control, nothing will hurt us, but we are hurting ourselves by being constantly in control.
I'm looking at someone behind the camera. Did you hear relinquishing control? Did you hear that? We've been talking about that at length in business, relationship, spirituality, the true surrender and relinquishing control of all the things, because we swear we need to be in control of everything for it to work.
Yes, but control comes with like really trusting yourself, like really trusting no matter what you will do, if you are friends or in a relationship, whatever you will do, the only thing I need to know, I trust myself enough to know I can handle whatever will come my way. I don't say it's going to be pretty, but I can handle it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you break my heart, if you don't show up, like I trust myself, no matter how painful it is, I will persevere through that, right? Not going to be pretty, but I can do that I can support myself through that. If I know that, then what do I need control for?
I just got over two really big fears. If you've been listening to this show for a while, everybody that knows me well knows I have severe anxiety in two places, only two places. It's on a plane and in a front passenger seat. Severe, like used to be really bad.
So interesting.
And I would have to do all these exercises and tools and all these things. And as of early this year, it's really crazy. I got over both. And I didn't do anything differently other than relinquish control and just say, do you trust this person that is in control of this car or this plane? Yes. That's all you need to know. That's it. If you trust that this person is skilled, and it's actually funny, one of the prayers I would always say before getting in the car, getting on a plane was, God, I pray that you move this person in the skill set that you have given them to take care of this thing and allow me to sit and trust. And it literally was, I'm not kidding, when I would bring coloring books on a plane, I would do all the things on a plane. And then like in the car, I'm like, the seatbelt is not tight enough and you're going too fast. And there's just all these things. And now it was the simplicity of saying, I trust this person that's in control because it's not me.
Yes, it's not you, but also you trust them because you are aware around them and who they are, because you are about yourself around them. Does that make sense?
What? Say that again?
So you trust them, correct? Because the trust, it's very tricky thing. If we were not taught how to trust our caregivers or ourselves at a young age, we can be very confused with trusting, right? And this gut feeling. And that's why we dismiss it so often, right?
Yes.
Correct. Because we were told, don't listen to that, right? Don't listen. Disconnect. So when this trust feeling or the gut feeling shows up and we're like, this is not for us or this is for us, and we dismiss it because we are so unaware and disconnected from ourselves. The more you can connect to yourself, right? And the more you can trust yourself, then the feeling of trust with that person will be so much more transparent for you and real. And you will see the red flags so much faster, because now I'm like, oh, this is what it is. And because I'm aware of myself, I know this is right, this is wrong.
Yes.
So that's why I can trust the other person, because I know I'm clear around myself, but also them. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
So imagine taking that back to the same place that we have been for an hour and a half, which is radical self-responsibility. I'll be damned. I'll be
So it
damned.
always comes back to the same.
Because you trust yourself, you're able to trust other people. Because you are dating and you are triggered and you're able to look within, now you can see that this is more about what you need to give yourself versus what you are craving from someone else.
Or express.
Holy shit. I feel like we've done this episode 3 times in 3 different ways. And it literally is just the mirror back to thyself. So, Ludmilla, thank you again, our Stranded Phase resident expert, for now covering dating and the reflection that we all need to have on ourselves, and the opportunity. We're going to label it an opportunity. The opportunity in dating and circular dating. I am coining that term as you have permission to go outside. And circular dating as an opportunity to really learn ourselves fully, not in business, not as a CEO, not in our masculine, not in our need for control, but in love. In our, I'm not going to use the word dire, in our desire to feel and receive love and connection, an opportunity. So
claim it that you desire it. Just claim it. I desire it. It's for me. It's always been meant for me.
I desire love and connection.
Yeah.
Don't be trying to hook me up with nobody, but y'all hear what I said. I desire love and connection. So thank you, Ludmilla, for giving us that invitation, that opening. Thank you for having this conversation with us. And thank you for always being there for us. You're like that aunt that we all need.
Thank you for having me. It's always so much fun. I enjoy our conversations.